Welcome to our 5 on 5. Please welcome back Melissa Cano. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
No longer with ODF, the Oregon Department of Forestry, now the Medford Emergency Manager. Good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So, I guess my first question would be, what does the Emergency Manager do at the City of Medford?
That is a great question, and one we get quite a bit is, what is emergency management, especially for our city? And what it entails is basically planning for all of the what ifs and having contingency plans to say, hey, if half of the city is inaccessible, what do we do? How do we get there? If there's no electricity, if there's no water, what are our plans? And that goes for both training everyone internally in the city as well as externally as well, and trying to get our community prepared.
Wow, okay, and there's obviously a lot of what ifs. That's a pretty daunting task.
A lot of what ifs. It's a very daunting task, but it's really interesting because you can see how a community like Medford comes together in those situations. And we've seen it in areas surrounding us when bigger tragedies have happened. And in this case, it's preparing as best as we can for those and making sure that we work as one.
Okay, and in case people can't tell, you're wearing a Medford Fire Rescue sweater.
Yes.
First, congratulations with sweater weather, especially for you being involved with fire season and everything.
We're ready for this sweater weather. I think everyone is.
Yeah. So the position hasn't always been under Medford Fire Rescue.
No, it's recently transferred over to Medford Fire Rescue, and simply put, a lot of our emergencies do fall under Medford Fire Rescue, especially for the City of Medford, whether that be structure fire, vegetation fires, as well as all of the EMS calls, emergency calls that we get throughout the city. So it's really nice to be really close in there working with them, so I can kind of keep my finger on the pulse, but also I'll be working closely with MPD, all of our other departments, Public Works, Parks and Rec, list goes on, to see what kind of stuff we could prepare for together. Okay,
and as we wrap up fire season, knock on wood, of course,
yes.
Something that we remember several years ago was the fire up on Roxy Ann. Mm-hmm. Obviously, fire a huge risk in emergency management to anywhere here in Southern Oregon. Is the city doing anything to mitigate that risk?
They are, definitely, and they have for over the past year, and you're absolutely right. One of the biggest risks that we face as a community is fire, whether that be wildfire, vegetation fire, structure fire. It's where we live. And what they're doing on Roxy Ann, especially going into the fall, is trying to mitigate those fuels. So you will see maybe some, if you will, burn piles that they're putting together that are just going to take away those underbrush and some of the fuels that could cause issues for homes in the area. And so they want to make sure they do what they can to prevent any fires up there, especially somewhere where people recreate.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Not much more in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Melissa Cano, Medford's new emergency manager. So I want to ask you about something. I know you were heavily involved in the Penninger fire, which is the one by the expo earlier this summer. Obviously, multi-agencies on that one. Of course, it was so dangerous. Is that the kind of situation where all these different agencies come together? Someone like yourself as the emergency manager come in and lead, if you will?
So in those situations, you're exactly right. It's a cross collaboration. And usually when it comes to that leadership role, it's who's first on scene, who's there, who's running the show, if you will. But when it comes to things like that, there is no invisible line in the ground that says, oh, we hit this boundary, we're not going to go help you.
No, it's outside city limits, sorry.
No, yeah. and it's great because, let's say Fire District 3, Fire District 5, Medford Fire Rescue, in a fire situation speaking, everyone's going to be there to help one another. And in those situations, myself with the city, as well as any other players, will be there to help too. And it's really important that that cross collaboration happens, because that's how we're so successful in nipping these emergencies in the bud.
And you talked before about a huge part of your position is planning for that what if and the infinite numbers of things that can happen. Are we going to be seeing you, because you work for Fire Rescue, are we going to be seeing you on scene helping explain to our viewers what's happening at certain fires? Yeah,
that could potentially be happening, and especially in the emergency management role, whether it be fire, whether it be an issue with any department really where I'm needed, I'll definitely be there helping to explain to everyone what's going on. But fire, because that's probably one of the most responses we do, will be the main one.
Okay, great to see you.
Great to see you.
Congratulations on the new position.
Thank you.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.